Hello and welcome or welcome back to Inside Social Work. I'm your host, Marie Vakakis. I am an accredited mental health social worker, family therapist, educator, podcaster, and someone who is endlessly curious about people, like super curious to the point where I am Googling the opposite perspective of the kinds of things that I think and believe in just to kind of see, what do people think? Why do people think this way? Super curious. I'm curious about relationships, and I love the work that I do and the work that as a profession we do to support others. Over 6 years ago, I started the podcast as a side project. It was a space to have real and honest conversations about what actually matters to social work and allied health. And I started when I was doing some field education for a university, and I was meeting all these amazing social workers who were in leadership positions or management positions, some even CEOs and founders of charities and non-for-profits, hosting students on placement. And I was so curious by their stories, how they got to where they got to. And so I started to interview them. And then from there, it just kept going for a number of years. And I paused the podcast for a little bit to start my other podcast, This Complex Life, which has conversations about life, about relationships, more for general folk, not so much for professionals. But if you're interested, you're a general person too, right? You have your own feelings and relationships and stuff. You might want to check that out. I wanted to start this podcast up again, some new episodes, and I wanted to go beyond textbooks and job titles and kind of think about and talk about what happens day to day. How do people feel about their work that they do? Have some tough conversations, the moments that challenge us, the experiences that shape us, and the times that we sometimes question, are we even making a difference? Are we doing this right? So since the original series or the first few years of the podcast, a lot has changed. I've been building my private practice, the therapy hub. I've been designing and delivering online courses. I've dabbled into a little bit of teaching, collaborating with other podcasts, and you will get to see or listen to some of that work in this season. I've done some volunteer work coordinating the local mental health professionals network and some peer supervision groups, and running a whole bunch of training and webinars and all that kind of stuff online for practitioners as well as for parents and couples, and continuing to support individuals and couples and families through therapy. So very busy doing lots of different things. Super excited to share some of this with you. I'm so glad to be returning with a renewed sense of purpose and a deeper commitment to showing up authentically, to share some of the struggles of not just myself, but some of my guests, and to dig into some conversations that might still be in the first draft. We might still not have figured it out. We might not have a solution, but starting to have some of those tougher conversations. In this season, we're going deeper. My guests and I will talk about things that we sometimes avoid. I'll be exploring things like internal biases, practitioner burnout, those moments where we doubt ourselves, what it feels like to lose a client to suicide. We'll talk about grief, supervision, transference, counter-transference, boundaries, cultural safety, working with young people, with families, with couples, with relationships, talking about sex, all of the things, and how you can do things different in your practice or just reflect on, or maybe you're just curious about how something works. I do want to hear from you. The first few years of the podcast, I was pretty focused on people I found interesting and people who approached me to be a guest on the podcast. So if you have a topic that you're interested in, if you think you would be a good guest on the podcast, contact me. There is a form on my website, marievakakis.com.au. You can send me a DM. You can find me on LinkedIn. I want to hear from you. I want your questions. I want your ideas. I want to make this useful and relevant to you. So alongside answering your questions, hopefully you'll send me lots and lots and lots. I like to share what I've been learning and reading about and listening to and books and research and all the theory and making sense of that. So this season, I'm going to try and bring a bit more of that into the podcast with some reflections, some fresh ideas, practical takeaways, and hopefully that's helpful. And if it's not, let me know. You'll be hearing from a range of guests. Some are experts in their field, some are social workers doing the everyday work, and some are other allied health professionals or finance professionals. I am open to a range of different ideas for this because social work is so broad, and we work often in multidisciplinary teams or even alone you might be a social worker working in a school and have no one else who is allied health professional being with educators. So I want to hear from different people and different perspectives Whether you're a graduate or even a student preparing for your first placement, or maybe you're mid-career and starting to wonder, what's next? What's out there? What can I do? You're not alone in this work. Let's talk it out together. So again, if there's something you're curious about, I would love to know. You can submit your question on your topic using the form in the show notes or through my website. You can send me a voice memo. Your question might help shape an episode and help create a conversation that supports someone else too. Inside Social Work has always been about connection. This season, I'm especially speaking to practitioners who are looking for inspiration and growth, supervision and training. So if you're somebody who wants to learn, reflect, and feel seen in your professional life, then this space is for you. Whether you're listening in between client sessions, on your way home, or taking a quiet moment to reset, I hope this podcast helps you feel supported and grounded and maybe a little inspired, gives you some ideas. If an episode resonates with you, please share it to someone else who might benefit from the show. Follow, leave a review, all of that stuff. It really helps get the word out there. I appreciate it. I read every single review. I read every single piece of feedback I get. I want to make this as useful and relevant to you. Let's keep learning. Let's keep reflecting. Let's keep showing up. And here's the new season of Inside Social Work. So welcome back if you're a previous listener, and if you're new to me, to Inside Social Work, welcome and thank you.